Hello, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm trying to get this glare off my television, but I think I'm just going to have to work with it. I need to get a bigger TV also. This one's really kind of going out. Uh, anyway, I'm going to talk about the Fleetwood Mac song Silver Springs. In particular, I'm going to talk about this particular performance. This is from May 23rd, 1997. And the lead up of this, Fleetwood Mac formed in the mid 60s with various members of English blues groups converging to create Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. Shortly after Christine Perfect joined the band, she left her band Chicken Shack to join, and she became Christine McVie. As John McVie says, she was perfect, and then I married her, and then she wasn't perfect anymore. But anyway, a succession of lineup changes, Peter Green leaving the band, and some other ones. But they began to get a little more interested in and had their sights set on converging their pop, their blues sound with a kind of a pop folk sound, and that's where Bob Welch came in, and he sort of brought some of that. But he made an announcement in the 70s, around 72 or 73, that he was going to be leaving the band. And he was going to finish out his commitment with the band, and then he was going to leave the band to pursue his own endeavors. And with that, the band sought out studios in California to work with or whatever. And then they discovered the duo of Buckingham Nicks, and the rest is history with that. If you're a Fleetwood Mac fan, from 75, pretty much through most of the 80s until the Tango and the Night album. It was wonderful. They had great performances, and they were a great presence in throughout all that time, over a decade, really. And then they had their solo careers, but they really shined together as Fleetwood Mac also. And then they kind of, at the end of they did a Tango with the Night album. For whatever reasons, Lindsey Buckingham was not wanting to tour, and so the band brought in some other players, and they went on, and then they came back and they released one more album with that new lineup called Behind the Mask, which was not bad, really, but it wasn't the absence of Lindsey Buckingham was felt. He was in the shadow. He was there. I mean, it was like, they let you know, hey, we still love you, and we still miss your presence here in the band. I mean, it was all the way through that album. You could feel on the album cover and everything. It was a CD actually when I saw it, but anyway, yeah, I don't think CDs were the big deal, so it's probably still vinyl back then. But or cassettes. I got cassettes. I had a cassette player, not a. I did have a record player, and I wasn't buying vinyl. I was getting cassettes. Hang on. Hang on again. Okay, so then they went on with their continued solo projects, all of them, and then Bill Clinton's campaign, and yeah, he used "Don't Stop" on the campaign trail for his presidential candidacy, and then at the inauguration of his presidency, they did reunite to perform there. Now they had done the occasional project together, but a reunion really wasn't in the works, as far as, because they were all doing, they had separate lives and separate things now. But it came time for Rumors, the 20th anniversary of Rumors, and that's what this concert was about. It was a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Rumors, and they were just doing a kind of like a greatest hits kind of thing on stage, and they were nervous. They hadn't performed like this big of a venue for a while and everything like that. And it was a big, shocking surprise when they found out in rehearsals and everything they still could play together, and they still had they had a great thing going, and a lot of the old issues had resolved. Um, And so this began really almost a second chapter in this particular lineup of Fleetwood Mac, what we call the Magical Five. That is um, Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Christine McVie, Lindsey Buckingham, and being fronted out by Stevie Nicks, primarily, and who was not just a singer, but a consummate musician all the way around. She prefers not to play instruments on stage. She uses instruments for composition, but she's more of a writer, and her instrument is her vocal styling, which is can be used in a very beautiful way, but it's really a very emotional instrument. Uh, uh, and it's like, you know, uh, yeah, it's painful and gut wrenching, some of these emotions. But so they're in here, they're doing this, and it's been a while. It's been a long time since people had seen Stevie Nicks do what she does on stage. And at this particular time, she still had, you know, well, she still does. I mean, she's still a powerhouse, but this was ultimately the best ever, not just of a performance of hers, but just about of any particular rock concert that's been televised, for sure. Because what it is this came on, and we're making the marks, hitting the hits, song for song for song, very formulaic. Do the song, it's great. The you know Even the additional add-ons, even the Stevie Nicks twirls, and the and the Christine McVie and the maracas, and just everything that you'd expect from a Fleetwood Mac concert. And then we get up to Silver Springs. Now, Silver Springs was going to be on the Rumors album. It ended up being in a greatest hits album later on. The reason why Stevie left the band is because she wanted to use Silver Springs on her Time Space album. And of course, she wasn't the sole owner of the song because of the backing music and everything like that. And I guess it was considered a Fleetwood Mac property or whatever. I don't know. But for some reason, they decided not to do that. Uh, you know, uh, and that was kind of Stevie's cue. I'm leaving the band over this. If I'm not going to be able to use my own song on my greatest hits album, then I'm not going to be dealing with Fleetwood Mac for a while. And of course, Mick Fleetwood wrote an autobiography. He wrote a couple of them, but he wrote one about this time, and he does take ownership for his part in that. Considers it a business decision. He wasn't doing so well financially, and really kind of whatever. So yeah. But at this point in the concert, this is what it is. They get together to do the 20th anniversary celebration of Rumors with this one concert for MTV that was going to be a celebration of that album, Fleetwood Mac Rumors, and their other greatest hits and everything. And it's wonderful. And then we get to a point, the high point of this song, and it comes out of nowhere. You feel it building and everything like that, but this is just something that just people who saw this and they watched it happen, this particular part of the performance, had no idea what was going on. Like the connection that was happening and the identification of this type of mixed bag of emotions being expressed in this way. And I don't even know that, I've heard Stevie Nicks talk about it, and she didn't even kind of realize where this came from. This was just something that she realized, she'd found a place, and then all of a sudden she was like reliving some old emotions, and uh, for the first time experiencing some new emotions in a new way, uh, through a fresh perspective. But she just she lets it go. She does this shit here. Listen, it'll build up. Wait for it. Okay, so now it loses something in the transition of this, but just watching it live that very first time, and then of course this was going to really just be a one-off concert based on the strength of that performance. They were like, you know what, we're going to do an album called The Dance, and they did two versions of the album. One of it did not have every single. It didn't have every song of the concert that they did. It was nearly a 2-hour concert. It was like, just everything Fleetwood Mac that they've done together. It was basically had about 10 to 12 tracks on it or something like that, maybe a CD. And then they did one that was a full recording the concert, but it was I think what it is they realized that, I mean, they thought the height of their career was over up until this point, and this was the single released in the Rumors album, and then done here the live performance, and it charted so well that it was like, okay, we have to do a tour. And so they toured. They went on tour with these songs and this concert, and they found out that they did enjoy touring together. They did the tour. It was great. And then, of course, it revived Stevie Nicks' career and the careers of the other people in the band also, because they did go on and did, they going to get together. They were still doing stuff. Lindsey was trying to do a solo project that eventually became, what was the name of that? The Say You Will album, which was not Stevie Nicks' favorite Fleetwood Mac album, but it was a Fleetwood Mac album. I think it had some great cuts on that one also. It was almost like they were letting Lindsey do the art things. So all of his cuts, all of his songs were warbled and very experimental, and they did not sound radio friendly and pop friendly the Lindsey Buckingham songs, and they were great songs, with the exception of the single "Peacekeeper." He did great on that. That was, and if more of the songs had been like that, but he wanted to do more experimental stuff. So, um, but anyway, what we have going on is just me loving this song and just remembering how wonderful, because what was going to be just a concert, like just a reunion concert and then nothing more, began probably like that. Like Stevie is still touring, uh, and Fleetwood Mac was touring up until almost right before Christine McVie died after the last tour. Lindsey Buckingham was scheduled to be a part of that, decided not to. The band decided to go on without him, and then he said, "Well, I do want to tour after all." But by that point, there had been some bad blood over that, and they were like, "We've already hired the rest of the lineup, so no, we can't do. We're not going to just keep whatever it is that happened had the fallout and everything like that." But I think by that point. This particular dynamic between Stevie and Lindsey, uh, even though they really did try to work together, and they did for many years after, he even came and did work on her solo, uh, "In Your Dreams," that she did with um, um, Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics. Produced and played and did an album with her, and he did one or two of those things for her, and it's like he was like, "Oh my God, these songs are about me," even at all that time later. So we're talking about a career. This was the comeback. That was the comeback, and that comeback lasted. Like, I don't know. I want to do math. 97 to 2007 to, yeah, no, it's been about 25 years. The comeback lasted longer than the reunion, but the time between the Rumors album, that they were commemorating the Rumors album here, um their uh the second part of their career after the comeback lasted longer than the first part of their career, which fizzled out due to creative differences and uh, personal stripes within the band and everything like that. Uh, the second chapter was much longer and bigger, as a true continuation of a narrative. Like any movie sequel, the body count has to be much bigger, you know. So yeah, it was great. Um, if you remember that concert, if you were lucky enough to watch it, I watched it as it was happening, as it was playing for that first time on MTV Live, uh, and I was like, wow, I really, because at first they came on and I was like, okay, I remember, I like Fleetwood Mac. I'm remembering, I like them, because I hadn't heard them really since I was a teen, and uh, with that kind of interest. But then the Silver Spring song, and I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. So that's my memory that I wanted to share about that particular clip. Um, it's still meaningful, and you're meaningful. I love you all. Love and light. Peace.